Well, it's, what, third week of COVID-19 isolation, and doing all kinds of yard work. Thought I'd start a new hobby of milling my own lumber, just for the fun of it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but got a big old walnut tree laying in the yard. Thought it'd be a good thing to do it. I'm not going to explain everything of how I do this because it's a lot of stuff on YouTube, but I got this little bracket that clamps to the bar of the saw, and you put a 2x4 on the wood, and then you do that, and you just slide along and you get a straight cut. And supposedly I'll get a 4x4 out of this, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, that cut wasn't too good. Really rough through there. I kind of let the saw get off the track, but that's why I'm practicing. I'm going to try to smooth that up, and then I'll rotate it for another cut. That went much better. Get into the heartwood a little bit. Looking pretty square too. Been using this old Poulan 46cc 20-inch bar while I'm learning this so that I don't screw things up, but in a little bit I've got this new saw. It's an Echo 590 60ccs. Right now it's got a 20-inch bar. I've got a 24-inch bar with a special ripping chain on order, and that should go much better, but I'm not quite ready to mess with that yet. Okay, so that's my first try at a beam with the beam maker. Pretty pleased with how it worked out. I knew this was going to be a practice, so this is not a good piece of wood in case I totally crapped it out, but as you can see, it's got a lot of sapwood on some sides, but on this side I got mostly heartwood, and my intention was just to get it into 4x4 shape so that it'll dry a little better than the full log, and eventually I'll probably give it to somebody to do some lathe work or something, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Like I said, I'm using this chainsaw that my son gave me when he got a new one and it wasn't running, and I spent about $15 to put a new carb on it, and this little attachment for the beam maker, that was about another $25. And I definitely learned some stuff. These little bolts, you got to keep tightening them up after every pass, because they started to slip, and if they slip too much, those teeth will hit that steel clamp, and so much for that chain. But I'm really impressed with how square this turned out. You know, the lighting is bad, but I did not use a square at all when I was setting this up. I was just eyeballing it, and when I take a square, you know, it is about as good as you can expect. And it ended up being just over 4 inches square, 4 1/8, but bases are quite parallel. Pretty pleased. My first cut was real rough. I learned to hold the saw on more of an angle instead of steep, and I got better cuts because the teeth were not digging in so much. And the slabs that I cut out, you know, once you get a slab cut to get a square edge, then everything just lines up to that new edge. And my thinking is that when if I'm using a wider log, once I get the flat spot, I can just keep moving that 2x4 back a couple inches, and I'll be able to trim off boards for slabwood or something. And I don't know, these pieces, I don't know if they're sturdy enough to make little benches out of, or maybe I'll use them for a table, a log table. That's the other thing. That log was moving on me when I was cutting. I didn't have any kind of clamps, so I got to work that up. But the thing about the boards, that's what I did on this one, because the first cut was really rough and it was all heartwood, and look how thin I was able to cut that. So, and it's pretty dang consistent on the thickness too, so I'm not too worried about being able to cut 1 inch or 2 inch slabs. But I've got other things in mind with better tools. So anyway, that's what I've been doing on this COVID-19 stay at home. So I think it's time to take off my chainsaw stuff and get back to digging out stumps.